Hey y'all. Hey Leo. It's your girl Javy. High Priestess. Back at it again with the general tarot reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Gemini season 2022. Be sure to check out your Sun, Moon, and Rising. Patreon gets everything first. Patreon.com/justjeverything. We're returning back to our roots a little bit because I'm better at rolling now. But it's also the channel's birthday. This is the third Gemini season that Spirit Squad has been riding, kicking it with me. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you and your presence. Woo, be sure to hydrate. Light it if you got it. Your sun, your ruling planet, the sun, is in the sign of Gemini, which rules the lungs and the hands. And so there is something about making sure that you really reconnect with your breath. It's going to help you stay in the now. It's going to help you stay present. There is something about being present, being in the now. Especially the beginning of Gemini season. We are still, Mercury is retrograde until June 3rd. But that breath work, and also I just heard like what you put your hands to. It's time to make sure that you are really, really careful about what you put your hands to, what you invest yourself with, what you invest yourself into, what you associate with, what you allow to be associated with you. Those of you, especially if you have a brand, there is something about like protecting the brand, and that's just coming off, that's just channeling through right now. That's not anything that's on my notes. So I feel like Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, mind what you put your hands to, and also stay attuned with the breath. Just breathe. Just breathe. Oh, breathe. Just breathe. On May 20th, Gemini gets your ruler, the sun. And so there's definitely a heightened access to your masculine energy. I feel like there is a highlight on your connection to your thoughts, your choices, your interactions, your particular style of communication. Also, like making sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you're altering it to fit you. You are not altering yourself to fit something else. You've got to be like, there's going to be a lot of thought and thinking and ruminating on your connection to your authenticity. Are you showing up? Are you speaking your truth? Are you operating in your truth holistically? You can really access the Gemini gift of gab after Mercury goes direct on June 3rd. But I do feel like there is just a need to really let yourself think your thoughts. Really, really let yourself feel your feelings. On March 22nd, Mercury retrogrades back into Taurus. And there's definitely some sort of like redo, revamp, reevaluating, especially any theme regarding money, business, mine, I have. Those things, there's going to be like redos or reevaluation in regards to that. I also feel like there are tests coming in. That's how it feels like this Mercury retrograde has been manifesting, as in tests. Have you learned how to communicate? You've learned. Oh, Mercury. Yep. Mercury and the Death card, the Magician and the Death card. There is something definitely about, have you learned how to communicate? Have you learned your lessons from the ways that you fucked up communication-wise previously, the last like 3-4 years? Have you figured out how to communicate more efficiently? How to say what you need to say without downing others or stealing other people's shine or putting other people down? Or have you removed those people from your life who do that to you? On May 24th, Mars goes into Aries, and you've got to slow the fuck down. Skirt, like skirt. Slow down. Because you're going to want to go full speed ahead into something, and and you may not be, this is Mars, and then this is Mercury and Gemini, actually, so that's funny. You just may come off really fucking harsh. You may start coming off really savage, and I feel like it's coming from a great place because you're really motivated and you know what you want, and you may have this clear vision. But don't act on the vision. Brainstorm, create a plan, write shit out. Like, give yourself steps that you can like cross off the list so that you can make sure that your actions are a reflection of your trajectory in life and what you're trying to accomplish. On May 30th, I also feel like while Mars is in Aries, you've got to be careful about watching your tone. That's why Emperor and the King of Swords came out. You've got to watch your words, your diction, your word choice, the way that you take a beat before you respond, really reaching for mastery in communications, mastery in thought. Now, on May 30th, we have the new moon in Gemini, and it's really important to be planting new seeds in regards to your mind, your intellect, how you want to interact, how you want to communicate, trips you want to go on, networking, education, kids, neighborhood, siblings, any of those areas where you know you need work, how to relate better to others. What's to be the theme really is what's to be healed within your communication style. What's to be healed within your ability to love. What's to be healed within your ability to connect versus attach. Really, what's to be healed within your attachment style, Leo. That's the big thing. Now on on June 3rd, then we have Mercury's going direct in Taurus. And so there's definitely the things that you've been thinking about money-wise, now is the time where you can really start to get practical and plant these seeds by way of action, by way of intention, by way of like doing shit. You can't just have the intention, I'm gonna be a millionaire, and don't do anything. That's not gonna work. You have, we're out here co-creating, okay? And so then on June 4th, Saturn is retrograding in Aquarius, and that is in your shadow. And so I do feel like this is a big season or big opportunity going forward, especially with Jupiter and Aries as well. This is a big karmic reset for you, Leo. A karmic reassessment, soul searching. There is a lot that's going to be evaluated in your friends, who your collective, your community. There's going to be a lot of tests that are coming in regards to your friends, in regards to who you surround yourself with, in regards to your hopes, your wishes, what kind of community you do want to build, what's restricting you from that, what's keeping you from that, what's limiting you from that, and also, are you operating out of integrity? Because these are going to be karmic tests that start in for you with this Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. It's happening across from you in your shadow sign. So the access of the individual Leo versus the collective, the heart I have, the heart I will versus Aquarius I know, the water bearer. There is being up in the clouds, the ether, technology. There also could be some restrictions on technology, some breakthroughs in technology. I just feel like there's a lot of thinking that's going on, and more thinking than you may be used to. You just may be used to acting and going for it, and it's okay to let that just let it happen. On I wrote for the Saturn retrograde, time to acknowledge time to acknowledge what you're letting limit you. Because you're letting you're involved in the process. It's not just something, oh, you're being restricted, oh, this always happens to you. No, you're a part of this process. And there's some authenticity and some accountability that's going to be coming in. On March 13th, Mercury goes into Gemini, and it's a great time to act then. I feel like you've been doing a lot of thinking. Your thinking is going to start definitely getting more clear, and you can start to trust your instincts once Mercury goes back into Gemini. It'll be out of shadow. So then lastly, we have on June 14th, we have the full moon in Sagittarius, and this feels like releasing a lot of old dogma, accessing a new kind of freedom for yourself, Leo. You know, Virgo burned me, so I got to check the camera. I do not really trust this angle, but I've got to stop saying that also. So maybe some of you we're working on our trust issues together, our trust issues with technology. Ooh, with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, that could be a thing. There is definitely some of us that really just have this strong mistrust for technology and what they're doing, and our information. You may be around a lot of people who are skeptical of things like that. So that could just be a theme that you're having to deal with. But let's tune in. So relax, like I said, light it if you got it, hydrate. And it's Gemini season, so let's definitely do what we can to activate our lungs. Empty your lungs. And take a deep breath whenever you are ready. And just do that a couple times. Empty your lungs. We are reaching out to our benevolent ancestors, Mother God, Father God, Mother Earth, asking for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Gemini season 2022. I just heard long-winded. So some of you may be talking a lot. It's funny, 3 cards just came out, so it's just like there's something about being long-winded. Interesting. First card out is Justice. Second card, the Queen of Swords, and then the 5 of Swords at the center of the reading with the King of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Goodness. So there's definitely someone with Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius placements playing a role, Leo. Goodness. Or thought, logic, order, structure, maybe really fairness, diplomacy, rumination, just a lot of thought going on. First card out being Justice says, like I said, this is a very karmic time. Cause and effect is here. There are big decisions that are coming up to be made, and you've got to make these decisions from a progressed point. The heart of the reading is the 5 of Swords, because we're no longer just letting our survivor self run the show. Yes, we have all been hurt. We've all been betrayed. We've been lied to. We've been deceived. There have been people that have walked away. There are people that you want distance from. Some of you may be sensing some shady behavior. Someone may be being mean or distant or kind of sharp with you. And it's just like the heart of the reading is, are you going to keep making decisions from this version that is in recovery? Can you put off making the decisions when you're in recovery? Accessing a new chapter of your recovery and understanding once there is a certain level of recovery, your karma will change. The way that life unfolds before you will change. What happens, what comes into your atmosphere will change once you're no longer in recovery, or once you finally acknowledge that there are some things that you are to recover from. There may be someone with Libra placements specifically, maybe Taurus as well, placements that's playing a big role, but first thing out to be clarified on the Selenite throne is like, what has been an injustice? Do you feel wronged in some sort of way? Harmony wants to be restored. Balance wants to be restored. And so what decisions do you need to make in order to restore harmony? And another five of Pentacles. This is, you're needing to cut out conflict. Some of you are feeling left out, feeling on the outside of help, feeling excommunicated, feeling like you can't receive help from... Okay, let me just get the final card. Final card, final message. Some of you like are really like you're acknowledging your trauma bonds. There may be somebody with Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn placements. This may be a job. You may just be like finally realizing like I'm doing this because I, for the wrong reasons, or I'm not getting the money that I need or the support that I need, or, why is that? Have I been isolating myself? Have I been mean to other people? Have I been rude or snobby or cut off? Or am I surrounding myself with people who are like that? Or am I surrounded with myself with like-minded people? Final card, final message for Leo. Sun, moon, and rising. I feel like some of you miss your old friends, or you miss like maybe people that you miss. Please clarify. No. Excuse me. Final card, final message for Leo, Sun, moon, and rising for Gemini season 2022. Final card, please. Final card. Final message. Please. Take a deep breath, Leo. This may be way more emotional or way more... This is just a way more cerebral season. I feel like you're used to it being emotional. You're not used to this much logic or this much clarity, maybe even, or, 10 of Wands and then the Fool. And with the 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I'm taking the 10 of Wands, keeping the Fool on the bottom of the deck because that's what I feel like is happening. In Gemini season, there is definitely a reset, a karmic reset. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is really going to, and this is an Aquarian card. This card, a lot of people call this an Aries card, but it's just because it's the first. But this card is ruled by Uranus. And there is this very Aquarian feel. There may be somebody with Aquarius or Aries placements that's impacting you, Leo, or that you're being inspired by. But I do feel like karma is heavily at work. The forces greater than you are heavily at work. Justice is one of the trumps in tarot. I mean, it's like one of the what is it called? Not one of the trumps, excuse me. It's like, I can't remember the word. Anyway, mental clarity is really important. Remembering things, remembering what people did to you, letting go of what people did to you. Like there's a lot coming to light. I gotta figure out what that word is. Hold on. Because that's gonna drive me crazy and I know exactly where I can find it. Oh, please. So some of you, especially triumphs. Ha! Okay, thank you. There are, because there are the triumphs of tarot. Love, chastity, death, fame, time, and eternity are the triumphs. And they're the big change cards. And actually, justice is not one of them. But judgment is, and so that's what I was thinking. And justice is the deliberation, judgment is the verdict. And so there is something about, I hear say what you need to say. Wielding the sword of truth. There's a lot of swords here. And Justice, being the first card out, says that the sword of truth is being handled for you. If there are any legal situations, you need to tell the truth. The fairest outcome will come to pass. The fairest outcome will come to pass. But there is something about the sword of truth is not just about powerful conversations being had, these powerful truths. It's also about learning how to cut some shit out. A sword is meant to cut. And you have to garner the strength to learn how to wield it. And you do that by way of being really authentic, by way of telling the truth, by way of not sugarcoating or people pleasing constantly, by way of being really honest and fair and kind and loving and generous about the fact that 1 + 1 makes 2, and you need to put yourself first and in all things. And that is not selfish. That's healthy. Anything less than that is fucking icky and codependent. And it's just let's just be done with that version of you already. And I think that that's how you feel as well. You are done with that version of you. You are done with the craving of a partner or the needing or the feeling incomplete. Understand that incomplete feeling is not going to come by way of anything but spirit. And I'm sorry, I don't know where that rant came from, but that's just what's coming through. Justice, with the Fool at the bottom of the deck, there's a brand new beginning, a brand new karmic reset. Balance wants to be restored. You need to operate in a way of integrity. Do not try to fit yourself into anything. Be authentic. Say what you need to say. Do your part to be honest. You may have some opportunity to if you see something, say something you may, I just heard snitches get stitches. You may think about tattling or something, or someone tattles on you, or there may be just shady behavior that you're sensing. And I don't feel like you need to snitch on anybody. I feel like you need to remove yourself. If something feels off, it is. And the Queen of Swords is coming out to say that it's really, really important for you to be fair, direct, to be honest if you are depressed or if you're anxious or if you're, it's time to unpack and reconnect with your thoughts. Allow yourself to get familiar with all the internal chatter that's going on so that you can learn who is saying what, how the voice of your ego speaks to you, how the voice of your insecurity or fear speaks to you, and then how the voice of spirit speaks to you. Because it feels like there is a lot of conflict here, and mental conflict. And I feel like some of you, your words or your attitude or your actions in some way are costing you money. I'm just going to say that. Some of you are you think you're being funny, but you're actually costing yourself money. I didn't mean that to rhyme. But it's just in some sort of way, maybe you're being too harsh or being too rigid, or all of a sudden, it's almost you get a taste of telling people the truth, and all of a sudden you're saying things and you're going too far. You may hurt someone's feelings, or someone may hurt your feelings. So it's important to be honest and say, hey, that cut a little deep, or that went too far, or hey, I have some things that I need to articulate and get off my chest. I feel like journaling is really important. Writing is really important. Addressing this internal conflict is going to help you address the external financial conflict and the whole feeling left out thing, or not feeling enough connection. I feel like there's something about not feeling a spark. And some of you, there's just a lot of turn your back energy. The 3 of Wands was originally at the bottom of the deck. There's a lot of turn your back energy that's coming through. So some of you may be thinking about turning away from something, quitting a job, quitting something that's burning you out or overextending you in some sort of way, Leo. Some of you are thinking about leaving a job, leaving a relationship, leaving this Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or really prioritizing this Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or turning away from them either. It's going to be different for everybody. This is a general reading. But I do feel what do you want to, it's time to stop putting all your eggs in this basket if you know this ain't your basket. Whatever that is. And for some of you, I think that's work. I feel like also beware of the trauma bonds, or who's attached to you or who you're attached to. There are themes of connection versus attachment coming up for you big time. Big time. Mercury, the lovers, connection, and then Saturn in your shadow in retrograde, which is the devil, attachment. That those cards are like keep flashing in my mind. I'm surprised they didn't come out. They'll probably come out in the plunge. But the center of your reading is very conflictual. I feel it, and that's okay. It's not and miss me with the like, I need a lovey-dovey, bright and bubbly fucking reading every fucking time. No, we're here to fucking progress our souls and to expand. And that's what this Mercury retrograde is heavily about, is like, have you fucking learned your lessons? Have you learned how to really communicate effectively? Have you learned how to like soften your tone or work on your tone or discern how you need to show up in this conversation or in this situation, versus just bulldozing or just being, like funny, haha, or sarcastic all the time. There is a shift here that wants to come in regards to, your freedom to be able to move. Every card has something in their hands. It's the sword of truth, the scales, another sword of truth, the 3 swords that he's holding, the 2 swords on the ground. So definitely addressing if there's things that you're going back and forth about, or people that are being like back and forth about you or in and out of your life. In the 5 of Pentacles, the guy in the crutches, them holding the sweater, the 10 of Wands, him holding, or that person, excuse me, I'm trying to get better at pronouns, them holding all the wands. The Fool, he's got the knapsack, though it's light, just, the knapsack and the flower, but there's still someone holding on to something in every card. It's like a clutch, grip, holding on, and the only one that doesn't look pressed is Justice and the Queen of Swords. The rest of them look a little stressed out. So I do feel like the deeper we get into Gemini season, it's going to be revealed to you. The sun reveals your ruling planet. It's going to be revealed to you what needs to be released. And that full moon in Sagittarius is going to big time, especially after the lunar eclipse in Scorpio that we're coming off of. There's a big time release that's happening. It almost feels like a clean slate. And in order to really clean the slate, you've got to look at all the shit that's on your plate. I love you. I don't know why I'm rhyming so much. It's just like straight off the dome. And with these swords out, I do feel like your mental faculties, your creative faculties, your ability to write, your ability to articulate are really, really going to be shining even throughout the retrograde, because I do feel like a lot of you have learned your lessons, or are in the midst of learning some really harsh lessons in regards to relating, communicating, holding on, and releasing and letting yourself be free. This full moon in Sagittarius wants you free, lighthearted, your heart light as a feather. And so what is going on with this clutching? Let's get into it, Leo. I love you. You got this either way. Stay tuned for the plunge. For the full version of the video, go to Patreon.